But you can't pin all of this on Chapek because a lot of these things that have not gone well were introduced by Iger under his realm. I mean, the Star Cruiser, that was an Iger thing. A lot of these movies that have been greenlit were, Iger greenlit before COVID. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jared. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good, but we are kind of, we're doing this very old school. We don't have internet currently, which makes podcasting difficult, if I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
About 7 o'clock this evening, it just went out. Like, our phones and the internet went out. But yet somehow I was able to get a text message from AT&T to let us know that the internet was out, which I figured. So, we're recording this basically using our phones, and I was able... I left our house and went to the Starbucks nearby. Mm-hmm. Was able to get some internet there to retrieve the show notes because we keep our show notes like on Google Notes, or not Google Notes, sorry, Google Drive. And you can't access that, obviously, if you don't have internet. So, I did that. I went to Starbucks to get the show notes, get some news to put it into the show, and then drove back, took screenshots. So we're doing this really old school here.
It's very piecemeal together. Yeah. And that's okay. That's all right. We're just going to roll with it.
And if you hear this, we were able to get internet back to upload it.
Right.
So,
well, they told us 4 to 5 hours.
They did.
Was the approximate time to when it would be back up. And that was at 7. So
listen, if I have to,
midnight,
I'll drive back to Starbucks in the middle of the night to upload it if I need to. Hopefully I don't need to do that.
Well, didn't you say there were like a couple cars in the parking lot too? Just sitting there.
I was not the only one. Starbucks was closed, which ours I guess closes early because I think nobody was in there. It was closed, and there was about 4 or 5 cars in the parking lot with their lights on and people in it. And I was like, I'm doubting I'm the only one up here to get internet.
Listen, guys, people need their internet.
But yeah, it was out for. I mean, it didn't come back on. I think the Starbucks is a good 2 miles, 3 miles from the house.
Oh, it's a little, it's a little more than that. It's like 3.
So it was up until that point where I kind of did get a phone signal there, but either way, wasn't how we planned to do the show.
Adventures of Jared and Jamie.
Improvise.
That's right.
That's all you just got to improvise and keep going.
That's as exciting as it got for us today. With no internet.
As excitement goes, that was most. If you want to call it exciting, but so that's going on with us. So anyways, we were able to get all the notes in. We were able to get everything. So we do have some news to talk about, including that Bob Iger may be sticking around a bit longer, perhaps. And Jamie and I went with the kids. We went to Magic Kingdom this past weekend, and we tried some new treats we're going to talk about, treats or snacks that we're going to talk about.
Some foods.
Because we all know people like talking about foods.
It's true. And Magic Kingdom in the past, not known for the best food out of all the parks. I think it kind of lacks a little bit, but with these, maybe that'll change.
I think they're known for the most Instagram-worthy snacks because they're clearly mostly time made for pictures, but they don't always taste the best.
Right.
But we will see if that holds true.
All right.
It may or may not.
We'll already know, but okay.
Well, we know.
Your teasing is great.
Well, I'm trying. I'm teasing you. So anyways, well, before we get to the news, I just want to remind everybody, if you want even more content and if you want to join a cool club and you can't afford Club 33, it's a little bit out of your price range, you could perhaps look at joining Club 32, which is the next best option. And that is our private group, kind of like our own Patreon, but we do it on our own because it allows us a little bit more freedom and we're able to communicate and, talk to you guys more and do more cool stuff. So we got extra shows in there like Cool Kids Kitchen. We have the Club 32 show. We have the Club 32 Speakeasy. We do live streams. The Club 32 show is a live stream every week. We do on Tuesday nights. Mm-hmm. We do live stream from the parks. We have a private podcast feed. You get 20% off of CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products. So it's like Black Friday year round. And there's a private Facebook group and a private Discord. And, we talk a little bit more, we show some behind the scenes things, get some more glimpse into us, communicate a little bit more in there as things grow. It's kind of our place to get to talk to people a little bit more in there. So if you want to join there, you can go to ctmvip.com and you can do a monthly or yearly option. If you do the yearly, you get a free t-shirt. And if you do the monthly, you can even do a free trial. So if you want to see if it's for you and all that stuff, and you got about a week to try it out. So either way, go to ctmvip.com. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us and ask away. So, all right, well, let's get to the news. And I suppose the biggest one is something that broke today, is that the Walt Disney Company Board of Directors has announced that Bob Iger will remain as CEO until 2026.
Yeah, so in a statement he put out today, Wednesday, he said that he had to make difficult decisions to address some existing structural and efficiency issues. But he believed Disney's long-term future is incredibly bright. He also emphasized that he remained intent on finding the company's next CEO. And he says, quote, "Because I want to ensure Disney is strongly positioned when my successor takes the helm, I have agreed to the board's request to remain CEO for an additional 2 years. The importance of the succession process cannot be overstated, and as the board continues to evaluate a highly qualified slate of internal and external candidates, I remain intensely focused on a successful transition." So he was originally supposed to, his contract was supposed to get up on, I think it was December 31st, 2024.
Yes.
And that has been extended to December 31st, 2026. So by the time he's done, by the time that comes around, he will have been CEO for 19 years total or something.
Well, unless he gets another extension.
Unless there's no extension.
If you're new to this, this is not the first time he has had an extension. He's done quite a bit. If we had internet, we would look it up. I know he's done it at least 3 or 4 times that he's got an extension. Mm-hmm. Okay, the funny thing about this is, and Jamie, you can back me up on this. I have talked on the show many times that I think Iger is going to stay past the 2024. I feel like he was going to do this because we hadn't heard anything about any sort of you start hearing rumors about people getting closed, especially back before Chapek was the heir apparent or whatever. You had Tom Skaggs, you heard a lot of people, and then they would leave because they weren't going to be the CEO. So you were hearing a lot of things around there. There was nothing. And I was actually going to talk about today, and I was going to say, hot take here, I think Iger's staying past 24. That was going to be my hot take, and then this broke, and I was like, okay, I guess. But
it's a cold take now.
It's a cold take.
Yep.
But I'm not surprised. Listen, I'm not the biggest Iger proponent. I don't think he's the worst CEO in the world, but I also don't think he's this guy that was gonna come in on the golden chariot and fix everything. Well, and if you look at the company, if you just look at it holistically, there's not a lot of places you can point to within the Disney company that you can say that's a really strong place right now. The strongest one is the parks, but even that one, financial analysts are starting to come out and say they're downgrading the Disney stock and saying the parks are looking that they're tailing off a little bit. And many have, I know at least one, I think I saw another one, and again, we don't have internet, so I can't check it, but there's another one that said that they were downgrading the Disney stock and basically saying it's either going to stay where it's at or maybe drop a little bit. So there's not a lot of places you can point to that say, Iger coming back has strengthened the company. Now, you're also going to hear the Chapek argument. And mind you, I don't think Chapek was a good CEO by any means. I'm not a Chapek defender at all. He was terrible. But you can't pin all of this on Chapek. Mm-hmm. You can't. He was at the helm for how long?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Enough time to do some damage. And he did restructure the company, especially the entertainment side, in a not great way. And I think that's one of the things Iger was talking about is the restructuring part. Agreed. Okay, that's fine. But you can't pin all of this on Chapek because a lot of these things that have not gone well were introduced by Iger under his realm. I mean, the Star Cruiser, that was an Iger thing. A lot of these movies that have been greenlit were, Iger greenlit before COVID. Mm-hmm. A lot of it. So I think this also shows that there's nobody internally that they think probably can do it, or they don't look at that has the potential, because if so, you would have heard about it by now.
Right. Usually they have somebody prepped up and ready to go.
Right. So this could explain why Christine McCarthy left, because she looked at it. If Iger's staying and you don't have anywhere else to go. I mean, if you basically can't move up. I mean, she may have just been like, I don't want to do this anymore. If I can't be CEO, I'd just rather go retire. I know her husband's had health issues. Maybe that was it. It could also be, maybe not, maybe so, but the DEI lady that left as well.
What was her name? I forgot her name.
I can't remember her name, but I wouldn't also be surprised if now that this has come out, you start seeing a couple more executives, quote unquote, resign or whatever. So, we'll see. But you did have a good point you were talking about.
Yeah. So, just to put a reminder in here. So Chapek, whenever he came on in 2020, in 2022 of July, they renewed him for 3 years or 4 years? I think it was 3 years.
I think it was 3.
And so as of last July, we thought, okay, he's going to stick around for 3 more years. And then they canned him in November. So not to say that they're ever going to can Iger, they're fire him. I think this is just an insurance that somebody that the board is really excited about, which would be Iger, is sticking around. Versus putting someone in that they're just not sure about, they're just not confident in. So they're just like, okay, we'll put our confidence in Iger, give him some more time, or give whoever it is some more time to prepare for as the next CEO. And what else are they going to do? You know what I'm saying? What is their other option?
Well, that's the thing.
You know what I mean? This is what they have to do.
It's a good point you make about Chapek. Just because someone is extended, I mean, you see this in sports all the time. Someone gets a contract extension, especially coaches, and they're gone the next year. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but a contract extension doesn't mean that he is for sure just going to be in there until the end of 20 or into 25. Is that what it is?
Into 26.
2026.
Yep.
And the board has always liked Iger, and I definitely don't think, I never thought they were going to not, at this point, like I said, I was I figured he would get renewed because also for his, we'll say legacy, he's not going to leave it as it is right now. Because again, things are not strong. He wants to leave this, I'm sure, the better than he found it. And he has done some things. I mean, one thing I was surprised by is the parking at the hotels was reversed. Now, granted.
Oh, the parking fee.
Yeah, that wasn't a Chapek thing. That was an Iger thing.
Right.
That was reversed, which that was okay, thank you. That was nice. But I'm just curious about how long, if things continue to trend the way they are trending, if you look at Indiana Jones is going to lose at least probably $200 million. And to be honest, one of the things that Disney has got to rein in on their movie side and the Disney Plus side is how much money they are spending on these movies and shows. It's out of control. Every single movie is $250 million plus. Then the marketing budgets are $100 to $150 million. Andor, which is that Disney Plus Star Wars show, which I didn't see, but a lot of people did. To his defense, a lot of people that did watch it said it was good, but not many people watched it. That show cost $175 million to make. There is no way there was no way that there was $175 million worth of people that signed up for Disney Plus to watch that show. So Little Mermaid was 250 plus. Indiana Jones was 300 million plus the marketing budgets. So mind you as well, when you're seeing Indiana Jones, it probably is going to top out 300 and something million dollars. Disney does not get $300 million. They basically essentially get half of that because the theater gets a cut. And depending on international, if it's China, the studios get 20% or 25%. So you get different cuts in different regions. So basically, if a movie costs $300 something million, the marketing budget's $150, you're already in the hole $450. Yeah. For that movie to break even, it needs to make around $800 to $900 million. This is what Indiana Jones would need to make. It's not going to do that. So a lot of these movies, for it to be successful for Disney, they have to make almost basically $1 billion, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. They're not spending $250 to even break even, but they're not even doing that. So ergo a movie like the John Wick movies and the Mario movie. Mario cost, I think, $100 million to make and made $1 billion. John Wick, I think it cost $90 million. It made $450 million, somewhere around there. That's a profitable movie. Mm-hmm. Disney has got to bring their spending down on movies. It's
that would help.
It's crazy. It is crazy how much money, even the animation stuff's $250 million. Lightyear was $250. Elemental was $250. Disney Plus is still a very large issue. A large issue. That thing is losing money like crazy. Now you've got a writer's strike going on. They've already mentioned they're going to cut production. They got rid of shows that are Disney originals on there because apparently keeping them on Disney Plus was costing them more money than it was making them. Those things right there, I mean, those two are big. Mm-hmm. If the parks start faltering for whatever reason, I don't think investors are much going to care as to why necessarily. And again, you have increased competition on the park side. So, I think this gives him more time to, if he, I'm sure he's making the argument, he needs more time to implement the things he wants to do. We don't necessarily know. He hasn't come out and really said what his vision necessarily is in the details. Mm-hmm. They're also going through mass layoffs right now. So it's hard to make the argument, when Chapek was fired, you don't fire your CEO basically in the middle of the night on a Sunday to bring in the old CEO and make the argument that's the activities of a strong company, or that everything's going great.
That's a Hail Mary decision.
That's definitely something that you don't do and think like, we're doing really good. I mean, that's typically. So time will tell what he will do, what he's able to do. But I mean, I will say this, if things continue to trend this way going into 25 and going into 26, I don't know. I don't know if that board turns on him and starts pointing fingers at him as much as maybe they pointed at other people. It'll be really interesting to see if that's how it trends, that's how it goes. But just looking at this in the next couple of years, I'll be really interested to see what things he has planned to sort of turn this all around. But all right, let's move on to the next news story, which is about the parks, and that there's lots of food and wine news to talk about. So first, the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival global marketplace menus have been released. And there are some new interesting dishes and drinks this year.
Yes. So just a reminder, the festival runs July 27th through November 18th. And there are over 25 to 30 marketplaces that will be available this year. Lots of returning favorites like the pão de queijo, which is the Brazilian cheese bread over in Brazil.
Your favorite.
It's my favorite. Filet mignon and the cheddar cheese soup in Canada. Those are some staples that always stick around. There is a new feature over at Brewing Lab at the Odyssey this year, and it's basically involving Muppet Labs. It says, guests will embark on a flavorful adventure featuring the culinary creations and madcap mishaps of Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and his assistant Beaker. So we're actually going to be able to see them on video, like just videos in the Brewing Lab and Odyssey doing these like experiments with food. And so like you're going to find some interesting dishes that they concoct because they're doing experiments.
Mm-hmm. I do enjoy Beaker.
Do a Beaker for me.
Is it me?
Right.
You just me.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Me.
Yeah.
The good one.
And one of the weirder dishes that they're going to do for experiments for whatever is the pickle milkshake.
No, God! No, God!
That sounds terrible. We were talking about it on the live stream last night.
Lots of questions. We haven't tried it yet, but the first question is why? And the second is how dare you?
Who hurt you?
How dare you?
Why are you doing this?
So I don't know if we might give that a try just to try it.
I mean, it's content.
It is,
but
sure.
It's like the bacon. Like I don't hate. Like we were talking last night. I can eat a dill pickle. Pickles are okay, and I love bacon. But if you're like, would you like a bacon milkshake? I'm like, no, I don't need bacon and certain foods in a milkshake.
Well, I was going to tell you that the funnel cake stand this year is bacon funnel cake.
See, I don't think that's good either. I don't know. I would have to try, but so I'm not a sweet and savory person.
Right.
So I typically like my sweets just to be sweet, and if I want them separate, like bacon on a funnel.
Sweets to be sweet.
Bacon on a funnel cake just doesn't sound like it would be good to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. But I counted actually, there are 22 new food dishes this year and 36 new drinks at the returning marketplaces.
Okay.
Lots of new drinks. Here are some that I kind of went through, and I don't think Jared had a chance because, of course, the internet went out.
It limited my ability.
It limited our ability to do this. So the new things that I'm excited to try are, funny enough, pickle fries from Fry Basket.
Those are just deep fried pickles, right?
They sure are.
Yeah,
They sure are. It's like spears, like
Right.
pickle spears.
Yeah.
All of the foods at Flavors of America. The Flavors of America is technically a new marketplace this year, but it's just Hops and Barley, which is the American Adventure Pavilion, and they just changed the name, basically.
I mean, they can do more than just drinks over there.
Right, and like there's a Italian hot beef sandwich, seafood stew.
Nothing like a seafood stew in August.
Yeah, so
Really?
stuff like that. And then over in Japan, there's a beef wagyu don, which sounds delicious, but I would only have that in November because it's hot. It's like a soup, like a udon thing. The crispy duck bao bun from China. I do like a good bao.
Duck is really good. Duck, if it's cooked correctly, is really good.
Mm-hmm. And in France, there's a Parisian Cosmos slush, which is vodka, Grey Goose, Grand Marnier, and cranberry juice. And then I believe it's going to be similar to the fake frosé.
Sounds about right.
So I'm excited for that. And then another one from Brewing Labs is an unnecessarily spicy yet extremely tasty Scotch bonnet pepper curry wings with cool cucumber yogurt.
I'm good.
That sounds weird. That sounds very strange.
That does not. Cucumber yogurt sounds terrible. I mean, I get it. That's the whole thing of this is like weird concoctions. But
there's a chimichurri marinated skirt steak taco with crushed avocado, grilled corn salsa, pickled red onions, queso fresco, and cilantro lime cream from Flavors from Fire.
Okay, that could be really good.
I looked at the pictures of this and I was like, my mouth was watering.
Speaking of, I've actually been meaning to make like a street taco like that. Ooh. So, but yeah, if that done correctly, it can be really, really good.
Yeah, so that one was good too. There's a cinnamon sugar beaver tail from Refreshment Port. Now the reason I put this down here, because it does look the shape of a beaver tail.
Is it like what we had at Universal?
It's like that snowshoe thing.
Yeah, it's
at Mardi Gras.
It's like flat fried bread, or basically flat fried dough.
Yeah, it's like
basically.
deep fried. Yeah. I think that's the same thing.
Probably.
I don't think this one has syrup in it though. The other one had syrup.
Yeah,
I think that's the differentiation. And then there's a dark chocolate fondue with berries, pound cake, and meringues at the Alps, which looks pretty delish. So those are just a few that I looked at and I was like, I think I might get those. But you'll have to see. We'll have to see what else I find. There are 4 new marketplaces that will be opening later this fall. One is Char and Chop, which has roasted porchetta, grilled impossible sausage, and meat assorti, which is kind of very much a meat charcuterie board, but like meats only.
I could get behind that.
Yeah.
If we want to turn charcuterie boards into just meats only, I would
like shaved meats.
Here's the thing. I think charcuterie boards, for the most part, pretty pretentious. But if you want to make them all about meats, I'll become a little pretentious if you're like, it's just different types of meat on board.
I'll do a meat board. I don't like charcuterie board. I can't even say it. Charcuterie boards because I'm not a fan of cheese. So I'm like, well, I don't like cheese. So
yeah, and it just reminds me, it's just a Lunchable, but just fancy. It's just laid out all fancy.
Yeah, you're making a lot of people mad right now.
I probably am.
A lot of people.
I bet, though, you could fool a lot of people if you just bought like 4 Lunchables, put it onto a plate, like a board, and just like made it look fancy. They'd be like, oh, like cheeses from America. Like, this is great.
American here, Swiss here. There's someone called Wine and Wedge, and that has basically a lot of cheese and a lot of wine.
That sounds about
right.
It's pretty on the nose.
Bubbles and Brine, which is shrimp, crab, caviar, rosé, etc., stuff like that. And then Swirled Showcase, which nothing was new on here. They didn't say anything was new. It's Mickey-shaped nitro cake, soft serve, floats. But I want to point out they have a Fanta grape float here.
Well,
and I know you like grape.
I will be here. Is it like an ice cream float with Fanta?
Yeah, so it's vanilla ice cream with Fanta grape as a float.
All right, fine. I'm in. I love grape. Listen, I love grape soda, and I usually drink diet, and they don't make diet grape soda basically, but I will take in all that sugar for a grape float. That actually sounds really good.
Fair enough. All right.
I'm in.
We don't know exactly where these will be located in Epcot, but we'll have more information as it comes out. I wanted to mention also marketplaces that we lost this year that were there last year.
Gone too soon.
We lost Swanky Saucy Swine.
That was not very good though.
There was one. I think there's one thing I tried that it was okay.
For the most part, it had it sounded like it would be great, but it was a very underwhelming booth.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite, so I was okay with seeing that one go. Earth Eats, which is like a lot of plant-based stuff and impossible stuff like that. Stop.
What? Oh, I thought we were going to. I'm so sorry. Oh.
I knew that was coming.
I'm sorry.
That was coming.
I'm sorry.
Mac and Eats.
That's. I like mac and cheese.
They had the cowboy mac and cheese.
Yeah,
that was so good.
That's just no. I'm
There
sad about that one. Makes Jared sad.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
like
so
the
sorry
cowboy
about
mac
that.
and cheese.
And then of course we talked about hops and barley being gone. It's just Flavors from Fire. Not Flavors from Fire. It's Flavors from America. Flavors, lots of flavors. But the one that made me the most sad, Appleseed Orchard is gone now. That was my favorite, only because I love apple flavored things, and it was in the air conditioning.
It's true. It was in the AC.
I love apple. They do have the frozen apple pie drink in the Swirled Showcase, though. So if you did like that drink at Appleseed Orchard, you can find it at Swirled Showcase.
You know, if you have an apple-based booth, you can make it a hit by just having really good apple pie. Oh, that's all you need. If you had apple pie with ice cream, they would just line up.
They had a good tart
Yeah.
last year. Anyway, so that's just kind of a little bit about all the foods you can find in the marketplaces this year. So yeah, I don't know. If we could look at the pictures, if we could pull them up, I would show you, Jared.
I can imagine.
Unfortunately, we don't have that access right now.
You've painted a vivid image.
Okay.
With your words.
Fair enough.
And we've gone too soon is Mac and Eats, but not gone soon enough was Earth Eats. May it forever be forgotten.
Oh, you and your ways.
Sorry. If I offended anybody, I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry for you.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just saying. I'm sorry if they feel bad. I'm not sorry that I have my opinion about it. I'm just sorry that if they liked it. I think that's fair. I'm making compromises. I lost Mac and Eats. I'm sad.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay.
All right, fine.
I'm over here disapprovingly shaking my head.
As you normally do.
Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you, Jamie, for all those food updates.
Yep.
Another part about the festival, which we can't really pull up here because we don't have the internet.
Right.
I don't know who I need to blame for this.
I just need to remember what I wrote.
We also got a preview of the festival merchandise that is coming.
Yeah. It's a lot of blue, a lot of like light blues. I'm not a fan of the regular, like the general festival merchandise. I'm not a fan of it. Again, I can't pull up the picture and exactly tell you what it looks like. They do have a cool thing, a coaster. Looks like a sandwich or like a burger, but it's like the coasters are like parts of the sandwich.
Okay.
So that's kind of funny. But they also they'll have a Figment collection, regular collection, and they'll have a new Encanto collection, which is new here. Oh, they do have an apron, a Maribel apron, which is looks like her dress, but it's an apron. That was pretty cute. But I wasn't a fan of the Spirit jersey or like the lounge fly, even the ears. The ears looked very cartoonish to me, which doesn't appeal to me. I don't know. We'll put this in the show notes so if you guys want to look at it if you haven't already seen it. But just opinion wise, just not a fan of what I've seen so far, unfortunately. But that just saves me money. less things for me to buy, and that's okay.
In fact, I will just. That's worth clapping for.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
But and all this to add, we're not sure if we're gonna make it to Food and Wine until probably mid-August. We just got a lot going on the end of July, and we're going back to Missouri and all that stuff. So we may have to wait then. But I can't wait until the new booths open, and
maybe be a little cooler by the time we go.
I doubt it.
Probably not, but it's fine.
Doubt it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's all the Food and Wine stuff for today.
Okay. Well, speaking of merchandise, we can stay on that topic. We also got a sneak peek of what's going to be there for the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party collection.
Yes, we got to see Spirit jersey, a mug, a pin, and another thing. A shirt, I think, is a tee. But the style is very more on the traditional side. Lots of red this year, and so I was excited to see that. Yeah, but they didn't have any party specific merchandise last year for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. So it's kind of nice that they're gonna bring it back this year. So the Spirit jersey specifically says "Joy to the World" in the back, which I liked. So anyway, this will be in the show notes as well.
Alrighty. Next news story we have is the Merida meet and greet at Magic Kingdom, has been moved to the Liberty Square gazebo, and the fairy tale garden where she was at is now closed and will be transformed for the new Maribel meet and greet that is going to come this fall.
Yeah.
And she was there. We were there on Saturday.
Yeah, we walked right past her. Yeah. There's really nothing to show that it's for Merida. Like, there's no decor or anything.
No,
she's just like she had in her backpack.
She's in that gazebo where Santa and the Easter Bunny will be.
Right.
Do that stuff.
Right. So I don't know where she's going to go after, if she's going to stay there all the time, or whenever Maribel comes in, are they just going to get rid of Merida?
I wouldn't be surprised. She's not like a intensely popular like princess, but maybe they do keep her.
She is. I think her line is pretty long.
I feel like if you put any princess over there, it would probably do pretty well. Actually, if you put any meet and greet there, it'd probably do pretty well because it's a high traffic area.
That's true.
Around the castle, on the bridge by Tomorrowland.
That's true.
I feel like you could put just about anything there, but not saying that people don't like her. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I think like Jasmine or some other princess would probably get a bigger line than she would.
Perhaps. Anyway, moving on.
Last story we have is that National Dole Whip Day is July 20th, and it's also the 40th anniversary of its existence. And it actually is outside the Disney parks. Many people don't know that.
It is. There's a guide for all the Dole Whip treats that you can find around the resort and parks. Plus, Disney will have more fun in store. The celebration lasts July 20th through July 23rd. So we're going to be there next weekend for it. We might have to get ourselves a Dole Whip, Jared.
If it's grape, I'm in.
They don't have grape.
They could do grape.
Whip.
I'm just saying. They could do grape. Just saying.
Okay. Well,
I'm just not
they don't listen to me when I
We
ask
talked
them,
about this. I'm not a huge fan of just the regular pineapple Dole Whip. Okay. I like the flavored stuff way more than the original.
I understand.
If I'm being honest.
Well, yeah, we talked about that. I'm not like super. I prefer like raspberry or orange or even like cherry. Ooh, that would taste good. But yeah, the regular pineapple, not my favorite. So.
Agreed.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all the news that we have. But we have no rumors this week.
Not this week.
But we do have a poll time.
Poll time.
I barely got that in time. The thing wasn't responding, and it worked.
Good job, Jared.
I should have said nothing. Nobody would have known.
Nobody would have known. You're the one. You said it.
I wanted credit. I wanted credit for my hustle.
Good job.
Thank you.
That's me clapping.
Okay.
Okay. So for my poll time this week, I asked, when do you like to experience the newest Disney movie release? And overwhelmingly, the most chosen answer was, I usually wait until new releases are on digital or Disney Plus. You got about 60% of the people said this. 25%. I don't have the percentages exactly in front of me because, again, internet issues. But it looks like maybe 20 to 30% said that they usually watch them within within the first month of release. And then everything else was much lower than that. But so not to have a huge, big discussion about this right now, but I think the fact that people are waiting until Disney Plus has them on that platform, that is lending to the lower crowds and lower ticket sales of new release movies. Now, it's not completely the answer and completely the reason, but I think it does contribute to it. So, and these people that I polled in our group are avid Disney fans. So that should tell you something, that like they're the ones not even going to the movies. So it's an issue.
I agree. I think it plays a role, but I think Disney, and they've kind of already started saying this, is they're blaming this as for the reason for the box office not being great, which is ironic on one hand because it's still their fault because they created this monster. So it's not like Netflix came in and did this to them. If this is what they're going to go with, they did this to themselves. The problem, though, I have with that is there's other streaming services as well, and there's other movies doing well. And also, if this was the case and everybody was clamoring for these movies, would you then not see a huge uptick in Disney Plus subscriptions? You're not seeing that. And they're losing, in the last quarter, they actually lost. I mean, we talked about the international numbers. They went down quite a bit for other reasons, but even domestically, they went down last quarter. Mm-hmm. So you're not seeing this giant influx of people running to Disney Plus to check out these movies. So I think with the captive audience that is the Disney crowd, I think that for sure is a thing. I think a lot of those people maybe would go to the movies if I think these movies aren't really. I think if it was like a Marvel in-game type thing, people would go. I think if a movie is a good movie, people will go if they really want to see it. In my opinion, I think that's the case.
There were a couple of people that said for Marvel movies, they'll go to the theater. But everything else, they just wait for it to come.
And a lot of these movies, too, if you think about the live-action remakes, some of them have been Disney Plus, direct to Disney Plus. Some of them count in theaters. So there's not a lot of consistency as well. And I think as well, like the live-action remakes, I think are just losing their allure to most crowds. I don't think people are really that excited about them.
Well, and like another point to make about this is that like I think people are maybe focusing on staying home and watching on Disney Plus.
For sure.
Is because 2023 has just been an explosion of movies. There have been so many new releases come out that way they just delayed for, a year or 2 years because of the pandemic. So I think especially this summer, there have been so many movies come out. And I think I know there's some people that are like, yeah, I'm going to go see every single one of them. But I think some will be like, well, I'm going to pick and choose. I'm going to go to this one and this one in the theaters. Then I'll wait for these at Disney Plus or whatever streaming service. I think that may play a part in it because, again, it's just so many movies. I mean, we haven't even seen the last of the Disney movies released. We still have Haunted Mansion to go.
And Marvels. The Marvels.
The Marvels. I mean, we still have a lot to go here. And it's a lot. It's just a lot.
Well, also, inflation movies, it's way more expensive to go to a movie now. And if you actually,
and that's what some people said
too. And if you ever look at ticket sales, a lot of these movies, so they're still projecting, they're showing like gross income on the movie. If you look at a lot of these sequels, they're losing like half the audience that they had before. So some of that is due to cost. But again, we're also seeing if it's a good movie and people want to see it, they will go see it. Ergo, Mario Brothers, Top Gun Maverick, Mission Impossible, I don't know if it'll make $1 billion, but I think it was going to make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But even that one has a lot of increased costs because they were one of the first movies that filmed during COVID. So for that movie to break even, I think it has to make somewhere around $800 million. It's just this whole mass production. You pop out a movie every few months and it makes a ton of money. Those days are gone because the landscape of entertainment is changing quite a bit. It's a lot of things I've said for a long time is becoming decentralized, more independent movies. Word of mouth is becoming a really big thing. Guardians is a great example. It did have a really good opening weekend, in my opinion, because Marvel movies their quality's been waning. But the word got out, this is a good movie. And we saw it, and it was a good movie. I really enjoyed that movie. So that's had really strong legs to continue going, and I think it's close to $900 million. Which should be profitable, I believe. It had a higher budget as well. But a lot of it's word of mouth, and the marketing is just not having the effect it used to have. So, if you're making stuff people want, they will still go see it. But if you're just assembly line trying to make movies and shows, which was sort of their approach with Disney Plus, just pump out a bunch of shows, that's just not working now.
Nope. It worked for pandemic because people were stuck at home, and then everybody started coming out of their houses and they're like, we want quality again.
You'll notice with The Little Mermaid, by the way, they're releasing the Blu-ray and DVD, and then it's not going to Disney Plus for a month or so, or 2 months. It's delayed to Disney Plus.
So they announced the digital when it was coming on digital, but they did not announce Disney Plus.
I
so
think,
we don't know.
and I talked about this a few times, one thing that Disney is missing out on is once, back in the day, you had a movie run and then you had the secondary market, which was like the DVD sales and the rentals. And there's a lot of movies that sort of caught fire after their theatrical run. They would, like Austin Powers is one that comes to mind. Or you got your cult classics that ended up happening that they didn't do great at the box office, but people love the movie, and it's had this really huge second leg that goes on. Disney, for the most part, like everything goes on Disney Plus now. There's no secondary market and there's no licensing. So I think Disney's learning. I agree that I think the Disney Plus thing is a factor. And if they start delaying, like here's the DVD release or Blu-ray, and then it doesn't get to Disney Plus for a few more months later, that could help. But the problem is you've trained your audience to expect it. So if they do this, you very well could see even more people drop Disney Plus out of being like, well, I got it because, if a movie comes out within 2 or 3 months, it's going to be on Disney Plus. If that's not going to be the case, there may be a lot of people that just end up, they don't want to wait that long.
All this to say,
yeah, that's a lot.
In conclusion, I did choose Disney Plus as well. I chose the top one. Yeah. Because one, since my mom is gone and we have to find a babysitter to watch the kids if we want to go see a new movie, if it's not like
it's harder for families.
It's not a kid movie.
Yeah.
So it's harder for that. Plus, like you can watch it at Disney Plus. You just you get your own food. You can pause it. You can watch it in sections if you want.
Well, the quality of TVs has gone up so much too.
Yes, for sure.
The size and quality.
For sure. And like you just don't have to feel rushed. You don't have to worry about other people in the theater. I don't know. There's just a lot of perks to having it go on Disney Plus as fast as it has been in the recent, past. If that stays, like you were saying, I don't know what will happen. So, but thank you everybody for participating in the poll this week. I will have a new poll next week.
Yes. And if you can be a part of the next poll time, you can do it 2 ways. You go to Capture Magic Facebook community and Jamie posts the polls in there. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Jamie posts those in the stories there. And you can join the Coalition of the Strong, as I've said, as we're almost to 12,000 followers on Instagram. So there we go. So, all right, you can join them that way. But all right, well, let's get to our topic today, which is some Magic Kingdom snacks that we tried. These are new. Well, not all of them are new, but some of these are new. 2 out of the 3.
2 are new.
But they're all new to us.
Yes, exactly.
So we're going to talk about these. And these are snacks. We didn't have any meals here because we were just sort of on the go. So the first one we're going to talk about, which we've mentioned on the show before, and this is only a breakfast item. So it's served from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., which is the sausage and gravy tots.
Yes, so the sausage and gravy tots are basically a side of tater tots covered with sausage gravy. Easy enough. This is at Friar's Nook. It's $5.79, and you can also get some cinnamon sugar donuts and a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich there as well for breakfast. But it is a breakfast option in Fantasyland. I had heard about these sausage and gravy tots, and I wanted to try them for myself. I was like, you know what? I think we need to try this. We need to get there early enough to where we can get this. Because sometimes we don't, we're not the earliest of risers. So sometimes we miss breakfast time at Magic Kingdom. But we got there early this time and we tried them.
By the way, I was going to say, we would have been in time for rope drop. If it wasn't for, we had gotten up and everything.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this.
In our stroller, apparently it blew a tire, which has happened a few times. And what's happened is the tire on the outside doesn't have air in it. It just got loose. So anytime you push it, and if you take a turn, it like pops off the wheel. And our kids are huge now, so this tends to happen more. So it got to the point where this thing was perpetually just coming off of the wheel the entire time. So we're in the parking lot of TTC.
Blazing heat.
And I was just like, it's time for MacGruber. And so I took, kid you not, our son wouldn't eat. He didn't finish
it was like a half-eaten?
Yeah, a half-eaten Nutri-Grain bar in a Ziploc bag. And I used that as a liner for the tire. And I put that on there. And that sucker stayed on there all day.
It really did.
It wasn't.
I was really
it wasn't
proud
the
of him.
smoothest of rides.
It was like boom, boom,
but
boom.
as the day went on, it was hot. It like moved around the whole wheel.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was shocked. At the very end of the day, I was like, I am shocked this thing stayed on all day. But
I'm so proud of you.
So we would have been in time for rope drop if it wasn't for the flat tire. But
because that took a little bit. That took like.
Well, I had to sit there and
minutes.
look at it like, what do we do? Like I'm sitting there like, yeah, you know, I don't know how to fix this. And apparently I've seen MacGyver enough, and I was like, I just need some twine and a Nutri-Grain bar. Let's do this. But
for sure.
anyways, I gotta get that fixed because I keep forgetting before we leave, and then we get to the parks. I'm like, oh no. But
we got a week. You got a week
anyways,
right now.
if you're in a pinch and you need a tire for your stroller, Nutri-Grain bar in a Ziploc bag and willpower, and you can make it work yourself. All right, back to the snacks.
So, what did you think of this sausage and gravy tots?
It was good. It was not as good as biscuits and gravy. So the really good thing of biscuits and gravy is still superior to this. But this was really good. Tater tots are good. Sausage gravy was solid. It actually was pretty good gravy. It was interesting because if you got the one, now what the gravy was on, they were kind of like, you know, they get a little mushy, which is fine. But you get the crispy ones on the outside. So I thought this was pretty good. I didn't think it was anything groundbreaking, but I thought it was tasty. And sort of an on-the-go biscuits and gravy. You don't have to cut them up or anything. Just kind of eat them as you go.
Right.
So I thought they were really good. I was pretty impressed with the gravy, to be honest.
So I loved it. And I told you this. I thought it was delicious. Here's why. So first of all, tater tots are similar to like hash browns. You know, like just regular hash browns.
They essentially are hash browns, yeah.
Pretty much.
Portable hash browns.
But it's also just, I mean, they're potatoes with gravy. One of my favorite things I like to do is go get the chicken basket from Dairy Queen.
I used to get the chicken basket.
And I dip those fries in that gravy.
Yeah.
And I heart it so much. So much. So this kind of brought me back to that. Because a little bit of a fries with gravy at Dairy Queen feeling, which now that I say that out loud makes me feel very weird saying that like I'm a 12-year-old.
Listen, I love that as well. Although I think nostalgia, I bet you it doesn't taste as good as I remember it tasting.
Probably not.
But I remember it being amazing. Because again, I love Southern gravy like that.
Right. Well, this gave me those feelings, that like sense memory came back. Now it has a little bit more sausage in this gravy at Friar's Nook, but it's still like I very much enjoy these, and I was very happy to try them. And it's a good option for breakfast. I mean, this location is a good option for breakfast for sure.
Yeah, and the gravy was actually pretty thick. So a lot of times you run the issue with you know, especially quick service type breakfast things like biscuits and gravy type things, with the gravy being very watery. This was actually, didn't taste like it was from a mix. It may have been from a mix, but it was thicker. Yeah. It had a lot of flavor. That was the thing that surprised me. It did have a lot. It's a very simple dish, obviously. It's just tater tots with gravy on it, but the gravy was really good. So.
Yep. Yeah. That was the first one.
Yeah. So the second snack that we got is the Aurora Cone.
The Aurora Cone. So yeah, this was actually brand new the day we got there. Like I just happened to see someone was at Magic Kingdom and they shared it on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that looks so good.
And it worked out because our daughter was asking for ice cream that day. And I had told her we could get it. Yeah. So this worked out. So
the Aurora Cone. So this is they do this at Storybook Treats is where this is. And they do like different princesses, like themed cones. And this one is a Dole Whip strawberry and blue soft serve. It just says blue soft serve. Is that blue raspberry? Blue,
it's like Powerade blue. Just blue.
It's blue.
Just blue.
Topped with white chocolate crisp pearls in a sugar cone. So it's like make it blue, make it pink kind of thing is what it is. Storybook Treats is where it is. $6.29 for this cone. This place opens at 11 a.m. so you can get it then. And okay, so what did you think of this?
I thought it was really good. I was pretty surprised at, again, at Dole Whip sometimes it's hit or miss, but I thought the combo was good. It was blazing hot this day and it was cold.
What did you say to me whenever he bought it?
So if you ever parked with us, like we're those people where, you know, we do food reviews. So like you got to take pictures of your food. So they hand me the cone, and I immediately take it to Jamie, like, take the pictures now, because it's just immediately was melting.
I was like, So I took a couple pictures different ways, video real quick, and I was like, okay, here you go. And then by the time I gave it back to him, it was just already dripping.
I understood the assignment. But with our kid, too, I asked for a cup, so I got it to her, and then I lopped off kind of the top of it, put it in the cup for our daughter, and she didn't want the cone, so I essentially finished most of it. But I thought it was really good. The combo, like the blue, which I'm a fan of blue, the color.
I think it's just blue vanilla.
My guess it's like a blueberry type of thing.
All right.
But it was good. I really forgot how nice it is to have an ice cream cone on a hot day. I hadn't had one of those since I was probably 12. I don't know.
Did it make you feel like a kid again?
No, I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot how good this is. Because it's cold and you're walking around hot. And I like when the ice cream gets to the bottom of the cone and you're still eating the cone. It has ice cream in it. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It was good. I liked it. I would recommend it. And it's pretty looking. It just doesn't last very long in the 95-degree summer heat in Florida.
It's very true. Our son wanted nothing to do with it.
He didn't care.
He doesn't like ice cream. It's too cold, I guess.
He pushed it away and said no.
Yeah. For me, it was okay. Like I'm not a huge fan of strawberry. Soft serve.
I like strawberry soft serve a lot.
I also don't like cones, like ice cream cones. I don't like the taste of cones. Not for me.
Well,
a waffle cone maybe, but this is just a regular cone. It was dyed blue.
I'm sorry, the cone was also princess. It was like blue. So
yeah. Did you feel so pretty eating that?
I felt like a beautiful princess walking around.
I don't know how long this will stick around, but they're releasing a lot of princessy stuff for Princess Week, which I believe is the 3rd or 4th week of August.
Is that like Shark Week?
Is it like Shark Week? Yes.
Okay.
It is like Shark Week.
Princesses Attack.
They also have a new Rapunzel Sundae, which is a shortcake with Dole Whip lemon and wild berry soft serve with berry compote and sugar flowers. And that's $7.79 if you are curious.
We didn't get that.
We didn't get this because of the lemon soft serve. I was like,
also,
I'm not into
the
that,
berry compote didn't sound really good to me.
Well, he doesn't like fruit with his desserts. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Yep. We're not gonna go into that.
Keep him off there.
So anyway, so that was new as well. So if you're interested in that, you can try that.
Like at Thanksgiving, we're like, you want some cheesecake? Absolutely. Do you want strawberry on it? Get away from me. Don't.
You're interesting.
Don't ruin a good cake pie thing. But apple pie, delicious.
Okay.
I'm not saying it makes sense.
Contradiction.
I'm just saying that's how it is.
Okay.
Anyways. All right. And the last thing that we had, which is from Jamie's treasured spring roll cart. That apparently, I believe if we ever are influencers for anything, it's just going to be for the spring roll cart for you.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to try and get people to do Nintendo stuff a lot.
And I'm just going to get them to eat the cheeseburger
That'll
rolls.
be our influencing moments. Yeah, that's all it is. They have a new one there, and it is the chicken, ham, and cheese spring rolls. And we tried those.
And that's exactly what it sounds like. Chicken, ham, and cheese served with honey mustard dipping sauce. As Jared said, it's at the Adventureland Spring Roll Cart. And in case you're not you're curious where that is, if you're not familiar, it's right in front of the entrance to Adventureland from the hub.
Yes.
So it's like right there in the little cart. And this $9.50 for 2 of these rolls.
They're proud of them.
It's true. Hours vary for this Adventureland cart, but usually they open at 11 and they maybe stay open till maybe like 7 or 8. It just really depends on the season.
Yeah.
They don't have hours.
They don't have set hours.
No.
I think they just, as long as people are out there buying it, they stay there. And then
you can ask a cast member, but it's not listed on the app. So
yeah,
just FYI. So what did you think of this?
I thought it was good. Surprisingly, it's much better with the honey mustard.
It really is.
I didn't.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing, I thought. And so it kind of reminded me of like chicken cordon bleu.
Yes.
I also meant like a Monte Cristo type sandwich that we've had before. So it was good on its own. But, and again, the honey mustard is just like a Heinz. It's not anything fancy. It's just the Heinz honey mustard thing. Yeah. But the combo was surprisingly really good. As the spring rolls go, you like the cheeseburger much more than I do.
Those are my favorites.
Those are your favorites. This one, I've had the pizza one before, which I like more than any of the other ones.
The pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, and the pastrami one is pretty good. So this one is, it's up there. it's decent. It's above average. I'll put it that way. It's good, but it's nothing like the flavors weren't really. It was just kind of like a sandwich. It was okay. It was very cheesy. It was good. It just wasn't anything like, wow, that's amazing. I want to get more of those kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with that. The flavors, it wasn't very flavorful for me.
It wasn't like bursting with flavors. Yeah.
Right.
That's, I think, why the honey mustard helped a lot is because they added a little bit of a flavor tang to it.
Exactly. It was really cheesy, and as I've said before, I'm not a big fan of cheese, but it was good. It was good. I think I like the pastrami one better.
I agree. Because
it had that aioli sauce with the pastrami one, and that was very tasty. Cheeseburger, still my favorite. But again, this is a good option if you're going for that chicken and ham cheese kind of combo. Here it is. And in the blazing hot sun, it's great. Actually, just get some shade and you'll be fine. But like it comes out hot and you're already like sweating bullets. It's
makes for great vlogs. We do have a vlog of all this because we did try all these, and it'll be on the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
probably hopefully by today. Yep. Depending on the internet, but yeah.
But I'm glad we tried it. Because I'm always excited about a new flavor.
I just wish they would bring back the pizza ones. Those ones are good.
I wish they would bring back the Philly cheesesteak ones.
The Philly cheesesteak, I forgot about those. Those are really good too.
Those are really good.
I mean, most of the spring rolls are pretty good.
Buffalo chicken nope.
Not my favorite.
I don't like that.
I'm not a big fan of buffalo sauce though.
Nope.
But like the pizza one, they gave you marinara sauce to dip with it.
Oh yeah.
And I love eating pizza with marinara sauce, like dipping into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind you, we did have pizza when we stayed at Universal before we went to Disney. And we ordered. Because it's a whole thing. But we ended up having to order pizza like on my birthday at like midnight. And it was, if you're really hungry, and even though it's Domino's, it was still good.
Well, that was a bit of a divergence off of what we're talking about, but okay.
It was, but we said pizza, spring rolls, and then it made me think of pizza. And then I'm like, oh yeah, we had pizza. So that's where it went. Sorry.
And you're like, I must say this.
I just say pizza when you're starving is amazing. Even the worst of pizzas, it's still just like, well, it's pizza. But
absolutely.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about that we tried? Did we try anything else at Magic Kingdom? I don't think we did.
I don't think so. That's all we had time for. I mean, there was a new chicken sandwich at Cosmic Rays that we thought we were gonna be able to try, but we ran out of time.
We did.
But yeah, there's always new snacks popping up, and periodically we'll go to the parks and try them all the same day and report back.
Yeah, so that's what we did. So the sausage and gravy tots, I would say a thumbs up from us. The Aurora cone is a thumbs up. The chicken and ham's cheese spring rolls, I think it's a
middle thumb.
I think it's a thumbs up. It's just not the best. Like Jamie would say, the cheeseburger ones are the best. There,
I'll give it a middle thumb.
Yeah,
in the middle.
Depends what you look for. It's not bad. I'll put it that way. So it's middle to thumbs up. Not middle finger, but middle. Sideways.
Side thumb. We'll give it a side thumb.
Side thumb.
Thumb sideways.
Not the middle finger. I hated it.
No.
All right. Well, that'll do it for the show.
Yep.
I think that's everything. It's quite a bit of stuff to talk about today. But like I said, we will have a vlog coming out on what we did on this day that will hopefully, depending on our internet, be out today when you are listening to this on the YouTube channel.
The darn internet.
Which is at Cap the Magic on YouTube. And we also have another YouTube channel for the podcast episodes, which is at CTM Podcast, where you can catch video versions of the show. So if you'd rather watch us versus just hear us or do both, you can do that there. And there's also clips of the shows over there and all that. Be sure to follow us on social media. Like we said, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, basically to let you know we have new stuff out. And we have the Facebook group.
And Threads. We are on Threads now.
Jamie said we need more social medias out there. We need plenty more. Wasn't there another one? Lemonade?
It didn't grab me.
There's too many.
It didn't grab me. Threads, though, is fun. It's fun so far. It's fun.
You like it more than I do.
I do.
But it's fine. Either way, you can catch it. We're at Cap the Magic everywhere. I'm going to change it on TikTok to at Cap the Magic. That's the only one that's at Capture the Magic. But
okay.
Yeah. So that's when we catch it on social media. We also have more shows. We have the CTM Universal show where we talk about Universal Studios. That is twice a month on this feed and its own feed as well. If you want your own you want to keep Universal and Disney stuff separated, you can do that there. Jamie has Trip Tales, which is her trip report show, and the next episode you're recording
Finally, it's gonna
Today?
yes, it's gonna come out this Monday. I super promise.
Okay.
Super promise. So we'll have 2 episodes of Trip Tales come out in July, and then we'll have, back to 1 in August. And I'll try to fit as many as I can when I can. Let's just say that. But one a month is the goal.
As one does.
I've been very busy.
It's been very busy, yes. And yeah. So that'll do it for the show. Thank you everybody for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you, Jared.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
we will see you in the parks.
bye.